Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's time for the men's NWAC selection show. We've already had the women's draw earlier, and thanks to all of the parties and the tweets that we got and the just folks saying, hey, they love to be a part of it. Now it's time to do the men. Before we do that, I'll introduce myself. I'm Kirk Rowland. Dave Andrew will be joining me, but we've got the boss with us right here, Marco Azurdia of the NWAC. And well, Marco, the first selection show is in the books, and now we're going to do the men. It's a neat new feature in the NWAC this year.
Absolutely. You know, we're trying to evolve as a conference, and we think this is a great opportunity to showcase our NWAC basketball championships and parallel it very similar to the NCAA.
All right. Well, just talk to the folks a little bit about the process and how that came about.
On Friday, our office held a drawing with the under the supervision of the Carroll Harden accounting firm, and supervised a blind draw, and what was drawn was the 4 times for the number 1 seed games. And so that's what we'll reveal today, along with the opponents.
All right. Well, outstanding. I think it's great. And, of course, hey, win or go home. First round of the NWAC Sweet 16.
Absolutely. We're a collegiate conference, and we want to parallel what's being done at the higher levels, and absolutely, it's the first time for us that it's single elimination, and so the competition should be great right out of the gate.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, Marco, and thanks for inviting us. And so, folks, as you can see, there's the bracket right there. It is all put together, and from 8 in the morning till 10 at night or close to midnight, and this is what we're going to do right now is fill it in. And joining me right now is Dave Andrew. Dave has been with us for close to 40 years, working with me as a broadcaster, public address announcer, volunteer, and as an NWAC fan. And Dave, this is a great time of year.
Well, it really is, and if folks were along for the women's tournament, this will be a repeat of the story. But I got started at NWAC State Tournament, broadcasting with you in 1981 in Walla Walla. And with Lower Columbia at that time, over following the games, and who figured 36, 37 years later we'd be doing this? Technology's moved on. We're a little grayer, a little less hair, but having fun with NWAC men's basketball.
All right, well, the basketball's been great. I don't know if the talent for this show is all that good, but all I know is, folks, for about 40 minutes, we're going to be talking hoops, and we love that. And now it's time to get after it and see who's going to be playing who. So let's go to our brackets here, and it'll be the morning session starting on Thursday. But the Everett Gym, the Walt Price Gymnasium up there, and the number 1 seed in this bracket, the North Idaho Cardinals. Welcome to the NWAC. This North Idaho team is a full-fledged member of the NWAC now, and boy, Dave, they've been a national JC power, and now in the NWAC, and hey, another great squad, 25-4, 13-3 in the East over there, and they're the East champs.
Well, not a surprise that North Idaho's had an outstanding season, but where that East is tough, and regardless if you've been in the NWAC for years or your first year to go in and win the East, and we've seen the Walla Wallas and the Spokanes and Big Bend, Treasure Valley, Wenatchee, a lot of just great teams. That's a great year for North Idaho.
Boy, they've got some players. Marcus Golder's very good. He averages about 19 points a game, and Sam Dowd has been a solid player for them as well. In fact, not only can he score, he can give it up 4 scores as he averages over 7 assists per game. He is a do-it-all guard.
Well, do it all, yeah, 18 points a game and dishing out the 7 assists. What a great combination, leader in the NWAC.
Yeah, well, that's North Idaho new coming in. That East is tough, and they've got some big wins over Spokane and Walla Walla, and they can shoot, plain and simple. They're first in the NWAC field goal shooting at 51%, and from beyond the arc at 42%.
Well, and for defenses, what do? I mean, you got to step out and guard the 3, and now you take advantage inside. So that's tough for anybody to defend this club, and we'll see what happens in Everett.
Boy, average over 90 a game, and very efficient in points for possession as well, and they've been on a streak, man. They've won 10 out of their last 11 ball games. So this is a very good team, and we're going to be talking with the head coach, Corey Simons, here in just a sec. So let's see who the North Idaho Cardinals will play, a 4 seed, and it is the Tacoma Titans. Tacoma out of the West region, and they've been a solid team, and they've got a great player in Khalil Thompson. This guy can light it up. In fact, right here in the gymnasium below us here in Longview, he had a 48-point game. He's a heat check guy. Once he gets going, it's tough to stop.
13 of 24 from the three-point line that night, and boy, yeah, talk about filling it up. The fans just down below us in that gym that night couldn't believe it. What a show he put on, and great to see Tacoma back here in the tournament.
Yeah, Khalil Wyatt's an awfully good player as well. He averages over 15 points a game, and they've had some good wins. They've defeated Spokane and Umpqua, and they're just really athletic. And if you come in there, you better be ready to get your shot put back in your mug, because they lead the NWAC in block shots over 5 per game. They do play some pretty good defense around the rim.
Yeah, you got to. We talked about Thompson and how he had scored, and then you back that up with the kind of defense and shot blocking ability again, and that's coming as a number 4 team. So it's exciting for Tacoma to be here.
Yeah, for sure. So, boy, a great matchup right out of the chute. North Idaho and Tacoma, and that'll be a 10 o'clock matchup on Thursday. Well, let's see what's on the other side of this. The Peninsula Pirates will be the number 2 seed in what we'll call the East bracket, and this is a Peninsula team that's also been pretty fun to watch up there in the north, and Darian Daniels and Jalen McCullough are the 2 big guys that they look to get it done.
And a couple guys, you see the assist stats there jumps out. I mean, you got two people dishing out 4 a game. Obviously, a team that gets the ball to other, in the hands of many people and can spread it around.
Yeah, boy, and you want to talk about a great game earlier this year. Peninsula hooked up with Shoreline. That was 116 to 108 in double overtime. So they can definitely score, that's for sure. They're pretty good shooting from distance. In fact, the top 5 team in the NWAC at 39% from three-point range. And as you mentioned, pretty good across the board. A lot of players that average into double figures. So I guess if you have a question mark, it's the defense. Right there it says they don't force a lot of turnovers. They're last in the NWAC in average steals per game with 4.7. Is that style? Is that just the way the games go with there? One thing's for sure in this tournament, you got to get some stops here and there.
Oh, absolutely, and any coach will tell you is that it all starts on the defensive end. It's nice to outscore people. I find interesting with Peninsula is those 2 contrasting scores and those big wins. They can get up and down and play that way, as it shows with a 116 against Shoreline, or grind one out like with the win with Bellevue.
All right, so who will the Pirates play in the Egg McMuffin game? They'll be taking on the Portland Panthers. Just 2 years removed from their first NWAC championship, and Portland is back. Boy, you want to talk about what's happened in the last 24 hours. Portland was looking at being out of the tournament, and now here they are in the tournament, and they've got a couple of good players. Andre McGowan averages 21.1 points per game, and that's top 5 in the NWAC, 5th in the NWAC. Good assist guy and also rebounds. He does it all. McCowan along with Gabe Garrett, who's averages 17.5 points a game. So again, you got kind of that double-edged sword to bring out there offensively. I'm impressed with Portland. Had to get the big win over a very good Clackamas team yesterday. A playoff game of sorts yesterday. I almost feel like Portland's already won a playoff game. They're not alone. We'll talk about some other teams that have done that too. So really, good way to launch in. Yeah, I'll tell you what, they get to the line, 8th in the NWAC, and made free throws, and they are the NWAC leader in free throw percentage, 77% from the line. That is pretty good. So if they can play some defense, this is a team that can make some noise, and they have played. Portland and Peninsula did play as the Pirates got the win earlier this season, 78 to 65.
In the big picture, Kirk, it's exciting to see Portland here again. Won the title a couple years ago, and Coach Broadus has them back here. Really establishing a great program there.
All right, so our first quadrant is set, and now we have an opportunity to talk to the head coach of the North Idaho Cardinals, and that's Corey Simons. And Corey, congratulations. It's been a pretty fun year so far for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, thanks. It's been a fun year. Got a great group of guys, so we're excited to get out there to Everett and kind of get this thing rolling.
All right, well, Coach, first time with North Idaho being involved in the NWAC tournament, and I know you guys are going to want to come in and show what you're made of.
Yeah, it's been a transition year for us to move over to the NWAC. The NWAC did a great job helping us get moved over, and it's a great league, a really competitive league, especially out here on our side of the mountain. So, yeah, we're excited to get to Everett and get it going.
Well, Coach, do you have any issues at this point, or is everybody going to be good to go? Is your roster all hands on deck?
Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. We got a couple of great sophomores with Sam Dowd and Ziggy Satherwaite that have been with me for 2 years and have won 56 games in their career. So we got some good sophomore leadership. And we got two freshmen that have already committed to Division I. Marcus Goldberg going to Valparaiso, and Nico Bevins, who leads the NWAC in three-point percentage, going to Montana. So we got a good group of guys. We just got to make sure we stay focused and get ready to make that trip over there.
Well, Coach, it just takes one look down the standings in the East to show the offenses at the top, yourself, Spokane, while others all scoring in the 90s, and the defenses around 80. Boy, a lot of shootouts this year, a lot of fun games. You expect to see the same thing from your club in Everett?
Yeah, they are. We like to get shots up. We can score a little bit, but obviously over here on the East, it's a big three-point league, and great teams with Walla Walla, Spokane, and Big Bend. We've had some dog fights this year, but yeah, we like to get up and down and score some points. So hopefully we can do that when we get over there.
All right, well, Coach, congratulations on a great year, and we look forward to seeing you in Everett. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you.
All right. That's Corey Simons, the head coach of the North Idaho Cardinals. So we've got our first little quadrant in, the East bracket right there, and a couple of excellent matchups right away. North Idaho against Tacoma, and Peninsula going up against Portland. So let's move on to the next section here. Who will be the top seed in the early afternoon portion of the proceedings? That's the South Puget Sound Clippers. Boy, it's been a special year for South Puget Sound in the West. Their lone league loss was on the final league matchup, and at one point they were 13-0. In fact, 18 consecutive wins at that point right there, led by Des Stoudemire, a very outstanding player who can fill it up, averages over 20 points a game.
That's the team that can beat you a lot of ways, slashing to the hoop, but around that three-point line. Luke Chavez, another good scorer, 47% from the three-point line. You and I happened to witness the game last Wednesday, and boy, what a huge second half he had from outside. This is a team, we talk about scoring, well, this team can score.
Yeah, Chavez, fifth in the NWAC, shooting threes at 47%. And they've had some good wins, beat Pierce, Tacoma, Lower Columbia, and of course, it's been special there in Olympia this year for sure. And you know something, they play some pretty good defense.
Well, this is a team that, and you talked about Lower Columbia, is that this team came from behind about 24 points down to Lower Columbia to get a win, a tough one on the road. So it tells you a team that is going to kind of scoff at any kind of score early. It's going to battle, and it'll start with that defense.
Well, I tell you, your passing better be crisp. They lead the NWAC in steals per game, just under 12. And, on defense, they're pretty clean. They're not a hacking bunch out there. They just 17 fouls per game. So this is a really good ball club for Aaron Landon. I guess the only thing you ask is, that there's not a deep history, at least in recent history, of NWAC appearances here. Will they be ready to go against the best?
And I imagine if you ask the Clipper players, they'd be like, we don't care. We're ready to
Exactly.
go. We've done it in the West. But you're right. We, looking from the outside, you're looking for coaches and teams that have been there. But, boy, what a great season they've had in a good division. So I expect them to show well.
Absolutely. All right. So there's the Clippers, and they're looking to find out what number 4 seed from another division they'll play. It'll be the Big Bend Vikings. The Big Bend Vikings out of Moses Lake. Another solid year in the East there, led by Jacob McCord, 26 points per game. There's your NWAC leader. The guy can fill it up.
Well, and then you move over one, also first in rebounds, 26 and 12. That's incredible. And Big Bend with a history of a team that's going to score a lot of points, but run up and down the floor with you. One of those clubs that's in there. But they had to get a big win yesterday. They were not a sure thing. Could have been a playoff game, but went to Spokane. I said yesterday, it may have been Wednesday, but their last game anyway, won by 13 on the road. What a huge win for Big Bend. Again, great momentum.
Boy, no kid. That's for sure. They can shoot it. There's no doubt. 48% from the floor. That's second in the NWAC, and They average over 82 points per game and do a great job from beyond the arc out there. So free throw shooting, that might be a little bit of a concern, especially around playoff time, but boy, I know there's a lot of folks that can't wait to see Jacob McCord and the Big Bend Vikings in the tournament. And so South Puget Sound and Big Bend should be an outstanding matchup
really
right
is.
away.
Yeah, get your tickets for that one. That will be that should be a fun one.
Yeah, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't you dare miss it here. We'll check in with Coach Landon here in just a shake. Well, let's see the other half of this bracket. The number 2 team, Umpqua, the Riverhawks. Solid ball club out of the South. It was such a logjam in the South down there. Boy, just last night there were teams that were thinking could be anywhere from the top or number 2 or with a loss out. But this Umpqua team ended up as the co-champs in the South and the number 2 seed. And they're led by Grant Ellison and Jacob Danoff, 2 outstanding players.
Well, Ellison comes in, a great shooter, over 50% from the field and the 2-point overall, and 44% three-point shooter, good free throw shooter. Boy, just a guy going to lead the way for you.
Yeah, well, South Puget Sound didn't lose many games at all this year, but hey, they did meet down at the Dale Bates Invite, so that was a huge one for Umpqua. And of course, they went to Clackamas and got a big win there. Always tough to do that at that point. So pretty good at the free throw line. They will block out and get a lot of defensive rebounds as well, and they will block shots as well. In fact, second in the NWAC at 4.8 blocks per game. I guess the only concern you have right now, you want to be playing your best come tournament time. 5-5 down the stretch, so that can change with just a solid performance in your first round game.
And, possibly feel a little disappointed, but you talked about Umpqua looked to be on a track to have the 1 seed, finishing the tie with Clark. Clark won 4 in a row at the end. Umpqua lost its last game. I have a hunch that's been flushed and move on, and let's go get them in the tournament.
Absolutely. All right, so who will Umpqua play in the opening round? The Sweet 16 of the NWAC, a 3 seed, and it is the Bellevue Bulldogs. The Bellevue Bulldogs, always a tough team come tournament time, always solid in the north. And they've, again, got some very good players. Jordan Muir-Kung is a very good player, averages over 16 points a game, about 16 and a half. 3 assists, 5 rebounds, he's good. And Taylor Freeman averages over 16, and don't foul him, 80% free throw shooter. 2 solid guys to lead this Bellevue team.
And they've played. You see the win over Umpqua back on December 4th, so these clubs know each other from preseason, and Jeremy Eggers has had a lot of success year in, year out up at Bellevue.
Oh yeah, Coach Eggers, all the time. They play deep. They play defense there. They've got some big, stout bodies on that team, averaging 73 a game, and not a really tall team, but they've got some guys that are pretty solid down low there, and so we'll see. I guess the concern would be, can they score? Can they score enough? And as they've proven, plenty enough to have another solid year.
Yeah, I mean, this team is just, and overachieves the wrong word, but it's a team that is really, you talk about not the biggest team around, but just, hey, find a way, and that's what Bellevue's going to do.
All right, very good. So there we go. We're halfway through this thing right now, and now let's have a chance to talk with the number 1 seed from the West, the head coach of the South Puget Sound Clippers, Aaron Landon. Aaron, congratulations. What a special year it's been in Olympia.
Thanks, Kirk. It's been a great year. We've had a lot of fun.
All right. Well, hey, you guys, fun to watch, that's for sure. And I know as a coach, you probably love looking at all that athleticism and ability out there.
Yeah, we've got a nice group and well-rounded. I think it's important that we have a really good shooting team. We play a lot of guards and have shot the ball well this year and defended at a pretty high level most of the year. So kind of all came together after we went to a couple tournaments and started with the crossover, and been pretty good ever since.
Yeah, for sure.
But Coach, had a chance to see your game earlier this week against Lower Columbia. It was a full house up in your place. Boy, really things have turned around. It's got to be a great atmosphere going there for the Clippers in Olympia.
Yeah, we love playing at home, but we like playing on the road too. And this team started winning games on the road. We didn't schedule many home games in non-conference, and we got a lot of support when we came back home to the West. So it's been a fun year on the road and at home for sure. We're excited to get back out on the road this week.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask this question, and you always ask it, and the answer is always kind of strange. You want to win every game all the time, but at least you won't have the specter of that 19-game winning streak going into the tournament. Can that be a good thing, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. We wanted to win that game for sure, and it hurt to lose, but we weren't really thinking so much about the streak. Once we got into league, we were so focused on the standings, and we were able to kind of let go of that stuff. And I got my team over at my house, and we're real excited. They know and they heard. You remind them there's a lack of tournament history, and we respect Big Bend. We know that they've got a ton of tournament history, but we've kind of thrown the term house money around all year. 3 years ago, we were in last place in the Western region, so this group knows nothing about history. They're just trying to peak at the right time, and we're really excited to get into the tournament.
It's been a special year, and boy, what a game. This matchup, this could be a crazy first-round game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our games have been crazy. We've got kind of a crazy team, and we've had some crazy runs. That's kind of our identity. We like to play a guard-heavy lineup and shoot a lot of threes, and obviously just believe in what we do defensively. So, anything can happen. I'm glad we're at a neutral site this year, and we'll run up there, hopefully get a good shoot-around on Wednesday, and see if we can get this thing done on Thursday.
Well, Coach, crazy good. That's what you've been this year. Congratulations on a great year, and we sure appreciate you taking the time.
No doubt. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, you bet. That's Aaron Landon, the head coach of the South Puget Sound Clippers. Of course, they've got their big matchup coming up with Big Bend here in the first round. So there's half of the bracket there, Dave, and boy, some good ones right away.
Well, we talked on the earlier show about the women. There's a good mix of new clubs and those with a history, and Coach Landon just talked about it. His team doesn't care. They've had a great season. They're going to come in, play a team that's been there in Big Bend, and that's great games all the way. You're in the tournament. They're all going to be good games, but boy, that's the one that really jumps off, that 2 o'clock game on Thursday.
All right, you're watching the NWAC Men's Selection Show, and we are halfway through this thing. Let's continue on. And now we go to the late afternoon bracket, the 4 and 6 o'clock games. And who is the number 1 seed here? It's the Clark Penguins. Wow, what a last 24 hours it's been for Clark. The logjam was so intense down in the south. Clark, with perhaps a loss, could be out of the tournament, and now here they are, the number 1 seed.
That's really a great story for Coach Kevin Johnson, who came in midway through the season. Guy we have history with here. He's from the Castle Rock area, just around here. Had been a high school coach, stepped down this year. Coach Johnson comes in and wins the last 4, and yeah, like you said, goes from out to in, and not only in, but number 1 seed. Great for Clark. Great for the Penguins. It's a team that won a title a couple years ago under former coach Alex Kirk, and they're, again, been there every year. The last few years, really been competing.
Boy, to have a leave of absence by your coach and then stay with it like that, and have these players all pick up the slack, it's been pretty good. And they've got some good players. Luke Osborne's awfully good, averages 13 points a game, but so does Jordan Burney. Not a true superstar on this team, but they've just got some solid guys.
And it's been by the records, you look at the South, there's not that one team that jumps out at you with, just a few losses, couple 3 or something. But boy, what depth. It goes down to where I believe 7 teams had a shot at the playoffs. So it's been a grind night in and night out for Clark, and that's great to test a team coming into the tournament.
Boy, they started 3 and 4 in the South and won 7 of 9, and here they are a top seed. That's a great, great turnaround. So the Penguins, who will they play? It's the 6 o'clock matchup up in Everett on Thursday. The 4 seed coming in, the Whatcom Orcas from up in Bellingham. How about Whatcom out of the north there? This is a team that's got Alex Martin and Leif Anderson as their 2 leaders there. And, of course, they had that deep run in the tournament last year, and hoping that they can do it again this year.
Well, and Whatcom, another one of those teams that's really kind of already started the playoffs. They not only had to win to get in, or at least not to have a play-in game, they beat Everett at Everett. So not only a big win there, but on the floor they'll be right back on Thursday.
Yeah, they play some pretty good defense up there in Bellingham, 76 points per game, a little just over that. And you mentioned the depth, and They just don't turn it over much, just 12.5 turnovers per ball game. That's keeping care of it pretty good. So
Yeah, I mean, and you look at that and you see a top 10 defensive team on one hand, and then a team that doesn't kick it away to play in the hands of somebody else's defense. That's the kind of team that's going to stick in a tight game.
yeah,
Make games tight.
there's 4 guys back from that team last year that got to the title. So I know they want to do it again, and they're going to get their shot here up there in Everett. Hopefully, you get a big crowd from Bellingham coming down there. So Clark and Whatcom interesting in now what we call the South Region bracket. How about the other side, the number 2 seed? Let's have a look. The Pierce Raiders under excellent head coach Bill Mendelson. This is a tough Pierce team. They are very athletic, and Hussein Ford, he's got a Player of the Week honor under his belt this year, averages 14 points a game, just under 10 rebounds a game. That's in the top 10, 8th in the NWAC there. And Michael Hannon's an awfully good, solid player that does a lot of things, steals, assists, rebounds, scoring. Coach Mendelson has 2 solid guys to lead this team.
Very, very balanced team, and boy, all you see is that win over North Idaho back early in December, and that game was played over in the east side. I believe in Spokane or possibly at North Idaho, but it was over that direction. That's a big road win for them early. Boy, yeah, you talk about Coach Mendelson, solid. Been around for a long time. He's been a winner. He's had teams right there, and guy can really lead his club.
Ton of effort on this team. They lead the NWAC in offensive rebounds per game. That's heart and desire and grit, and that's what you expect out of Mendy and his teams. They'll steal it from you, and I guess the only thing that he's got to be concerned, they got to keep care of the ball a little bit better come tournament time, but a real athletic bunch.
Really is, and again, the West has been good this year, so had to kind of run the gauntlet of the South Puget Sounds, the Lower Columbia's, Tacoma. Highline was close there. Yeah, this team ought to be ready.
Absolutely. So the Pierce Raiders, who will they play in the 4 o'clock afternoon game? It will be the Walla Walla Warriors. Wow, what a team. This is a fun team to watch. Jeff Ryland, of course, built by him as he was as a player. You're going to get licensed to shoot, and you're going to shoot it a lot, and you're going to fling some threes, and he's got 2 guys that are just at times unconscious. Gabe Porter and Colin Bakalarski. Anywhere on the floor, they can fling it up there, and they're awesome. 2
guys together score 44 points a game, almost a 23 and a 21. There are other players in that team can shoot as well, and you're exactly right. Coach Ryland could shoot it up, and he's got back in his day, and he's got a club that definitely can do that.
Hey, if you get the Jeff Ryland card license to go, you know you can shoot it, and he gets guys like that every year, and they're pretty good. They've got some great wins. Of course, the win over North Idaho was tremendous, and they shoot threes, and they shoot a lot of them. In fact, they have made the most threes in the NWAC this year, about 14 a game, and just a whole bunch of great shooters. We mentioned Porter and Bakalarski. Thompson's pretty good as well. And they just score an awful lot of points, so darn near 91 points a game.
And I'll add another signature win there. I one night, bumping around, watched Spokane and Walla Walla play early. I believe it was the first East Division game, and it's at Spokane. Walla Walla battled, won on the road there in overtime or double overtime. Huge win. I mean, you go beat Spokane anyway, and in their own place early, is a big win. So, yeah, we'll play with anybody.
Yeah, you try to outscore them, you might be in trouble. One thing, though, you got to get some stops now and then in the NWAC, and that's if they can get their share in this tournament. This is definitely a team that can contend and go big time in this tournament. So I think that Pierce-Walla Walla matchup is a dandy. That's one of the good ones that we'll be looking at. The 4 o'clock game coming up on Thursday. Well, time now to check in with another coach from the top seed, and Kevin Johnson with us now of the Clark Penguins. And boy, Kevin, how quickly things can change for a coach who all of a sudden is an assistant in the college ranks for the first time, and now you're the head coach and a number 1 seed going in.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, it's been an interesting year. So, but we've had a good time with it.
Yeah, well, hey, in 24 hours can change an awful lot, but I guess what does it for you is winning games, and you guys have been doing that.
Yeah, we've been on a nice little run here, over the last couple of weeks for sure. our league it's just been such a grinder. I mean, it seems like every night, inside of 4 minutes, it's anybody's game. And, our guys have just, fortunately, been pretty good at closing down the stretch and finding a way to finish in those opportunities.
Coach, of course, a longtime high school coach at your alma mater, Castle Rock, first year college ball. Just talk a little bit about the transition for you, coaching-wise, from to the college game.
Sure. It's been really pretty smooth. I mean, Alex has done a great job at Clark and has had a pretty good program going for a few years there. And fortunately, I was on board early in the season before he stepped down. So it wasn't like I was coming in brand new and didn't know any of the guys at that point. But really, just give credit to the players. I mean, they were very adaptable and coachable and teachable about moving forward and just trying to make the best of the situation.
What do you think of your matchup with Whatcom?
Well, they're going to be tough. I mean, I think in some ways they're a lot like we are. They have real good field goal percentage defense. They're going to guard you. They're going to rebound the ball and going to take care of it. Got a couple of guys that can definitely put points on the board. So I think it'll be probably a lot like a lot of them we've seen so far, just a grinder from beginning to end.
All right. Well, Coach, congratulations. Great job, and we look forward to seeing you in Everett.
Hey, thanks, fellas. We'll see you later this week.
You betcha. That is the head coach of the Clark Penguins, Kevin Johnson, ready to go and going to be playing Whatcom in the first round. So 3 of the 4 brackets all put together, and so now I guess it's time now to see what the North bracket is going to look like, and of course the number 1 seed will be out of the North. That'll be the Shoreline Dolphins. Wow, you want to talk about a high-octane team right here. They love to get up and down the floor, and they've been pretty good. 10-4 in the North, the region champs this year. Dana Abe is a really good player. 21 points per game, 7.5 rebounds. He's the 5th leading scorer in the NWAC. Pretty good. And Andrew Hawkins, no slouch. He's been really good as well. He's had some big scoring games here this season, and that's not just those 2. The Dolphins have a lot of weapons.
And really, all you have to look at is the signature wins to see anybody who can beat Walla Walla on any given night, in this case by 20-plus points, tells you right there, this club can play.
Also a big win over Peninsula as well, and they're playing defense, 69.8 points per game given up, so that's really good, and they'll steal it from you, and I'll tell you what, Donald Brady, the head coach, is playing a lot of guys. They mix them out there and make sure everybody stays fresh, and so that certainly keeps an awful lot of guys happy and ready to go.
And we talked about that back as we talked about the women's tournament a bit earlier, is that one difference this year is the 2 games, 1 weekend. If you're going to play all the way through, 2 games, 1 weekend, 2 the next. So having the deep bench, not as important as it would be in 4 straight, but boy, still very important, like you said. Just able to keep fresh guys in, played 94 feet. That's a big deal. And Shoreline, we've seen them. They're a very fine team, and will be tough to compete.
Yeah, they'll be making shots, but if they don't, might want to get to the boards there. That's maybe been a little bit of an issue as far as their offensive rebounding numbers. But this is a very, very dangerous team, the Shoreline Dolphins. So they'll be the top seed. Who will they play in the 8 o'clock game? Well, it'll be the Mount Hood Saints, the Mount Hood team coming out of that log jam again. They're out of the South, and Cody Thompson, Luke Anderson, their leaders, 2 solid players.
Well-rounded, both with high rebounding numbers, good shooters, guys you can count on. Great to see Mount Hood back in the tournament.
Yeah, they got a big win over Walla Walla, and they won in Vancouver against Clark, so it's a dangerous team for sure. Unselfish team, 2nd in the NWAC in assists per game, over 19, and pretty good effort out of the Saints because they're right up there in offensive rebounding as well. They will attack the glass.
Well, and yeah, that just, you talk about the team, and when you have that kind of assist number spread between a bunch of guys, rebounding and then the offensive rebound, it's just a team you can just never let up against.
Got to keep care of the ball a little better, Saints, and all teams can say that. You know, you got it. All possessions are precious come tournament time, but Coach has done a really good job with this squad this year, and here they are, Mount Hood.
There they are, and Shoreline, Mount Hood, interesting matchup to start things off on Thursday.
Absolutely. Okay, there you go. So the 2-3 matchup out of the North bracket, let's have a look. The number 2 will be the Spokane Sasquatch. There they are again. And boy, this is a outstanding team. Really, really good. And Levi Taylor, that guy is really, really good. In fact, well, we saw last year, we saw what he could do. Really the top returner, the tourney MVP last year. Levi he's a man out there.
Well, 21 points a game, and this is a guy who can drop 40 on you in a heartbeat. He can just really light it up fast. Guy you just have to keep after for 40 minutes defensively.
Yeah, Garrett Hull is really good as well. He does a lot of things for Coach over there. I mean, this Spokane team is very, very good. Wins over Walla Walla, North Idaho. We've talked about the East grind and all that. Spokane's up to it year after year. So Jeremy just has another great team who's going to try to do it again. And they've got 6 guys back from that championship team.
Yeah, I mean, how huge is that? And you're coming in number 2 seed from your own league.
Right.
This feels like a number 1 team kind of hiding out as a number 2 team, really.
Yeah,
very good,
absolutely.
very good.
There's no doubt about it. So they score points, 92 a game, and don't put them at the free throw line because they'll burn you there for sure. And if they can stay out of foul trouble, certainly a team that has the ability to repeat. There's no doubt. The Spokane Sasquatch. Who will they play? Well, it's the 10 o'clock game. It's the late game, and, well, do the math. That's the Lower Columbia College Red Devils. Last one to fill in on this is, boy, the Red Devils as the number 3 team out of the West, a 10-4 record. And, hey, it all starts with really one of the premier coaches in the NWAC, Jim Roffler.
Coach Roffler with a couple of NWAC titles, has been there so many times. Last one was in 2005, championship game of 2006. And, boy, just a veteran coach that others look up to. He can get, I guess it's about Coach Roffler. He coaches for 40 minutes, and I'm guessing most teams don't like to go against his clubs.
Yeah, no, he's really good. And he's got some good players. Keon Paulo-Thompson's awfully good. 16 points a game, 4.3 assists a game. I mean, he's a triple-double potential on any given night. And then you've got that big post player, Devin Johnson, who is a big force down low. And those 2 guys. And hey, Spencer Sweet's another player that's awfully talented and good. So the Red Devils, you know, it's been kind of the second run through league was pretty tough. At one point, they were 6-0 and had a 20-point lead over South Puget Sound, lost that, and then the second time through league ran into Pierce and other teams, and it wasn't as good.
Well, it's another one of those another team that's got a lot of people back, and Paulo-Thompson is a NFL strong safety, masquerading as a point guard. You know, he starts to show a real physical kid, some good size off the bench. Just a team that's got to take better care of the ball.
Yeah, for sure. They rebound. In fact, lead the NWAC in defensive rebounds and always playing that good defense. And, of course, with that structured offense of theirs, can stay in games. Lower Columbia is never a good matchup for anybody, but that's probably what LCC is saying regarding their matchup here. Not only do they have the late game, but they have to play such a good team in Spokane. So, you know, if they can keep care of the ball a little better, certainly a team that can pull off an upset over Spokane, but tough draw.
And these teams played back on Thanksgiving on the floor down to our left, so they know each other well enough.
Absolutely. All right, so there you go. So now it's a chance for us to have a little chat with the top seed in this North bracket, and that's Donald Brady, the head coach of the Shoreline Dolphins. And, Coach, congratulations, and another solid year for you guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, well, what are you thinking? You got Mount Hood, and as far as your first round game, and, you know, that's a team. Do you have a lot of knowledge on them, or what do you think?
Really none at all. So we'll start watching film tonight and start preparing. But we haven't seen them this year. You know, and obviously they are pretty battle tested coming out of that South. Haven't played pretty much 3 playoff games probably to get in. So it'll be a tough matchup for us for sure.
Well, Coach, how's it been this year? You've got a lot of players, a lot of guys you've used a lot. How's the chemistry been? Obviously, you're winning games, so I'm going to guess the answer's probably been pretty good.
It's been pretty good. Our guys really get along. Don't get me wrong, it's tough. We do play. We try to play 10, 11 guys, 12 guys almost every night. It's nice though, so we can always kind of count on somebody having a good game and rely on that hot hand. Depth is definitely something that we haven't had in the past. So for me, getting used to it was tough as a coach, but we've gotten to the point where I think we've got to figure it out, and the chemistry's been really good.
Coach, from a numbers standpoint, defensively is really your team has been tough defensively. Is that that's had to be big for you this year?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt. We kind of talk about it every day in practice that we would like to try to score some points a little bit easier, but we kind of rely on that defense. It's been the thing that's kind of carried us through the league and through the season. We definitely put a lot of time and effort into it, a lot of focus on it. We would like to score some more points. That'd be nice. Maybe this will happen in the tournament, but up to this point, it's been our defense definitely that's kind of carried us throughout the season.
All right, well, hey, you don't have the long trip, so hopefully a lot of Dolphin fans will be there for that big opening round matchup. Coach, I really
we hope so too.
You bet. Appreciate your time.
All right, have a good one.
All right, thank you. Donald Brady, the head coach of the Shoreline Dolphins. Well, there you go. Dave Andrew, we've got the brackets all set, and boy, from morning to late at night, we've got some outstanding matchups right away. With Peninsula and Portland opening things up next Thursday at 8 in the morning, followed by North Idaho and Tacoma at 10 in the morning.
Well, it's like any tournament. Everybody's their own zero now. I mean, we've got some teams coming in that are number ones with, gaudy records, and others closer to 500, but throw it out now and we'll see. Now you start seeing which conferences are really really standing out by maybe 3 or 4 from that conference beating a 2 or 1 from somewhere else. So we talked about the Big Bend South Puget Sound matchup. I think that Spokane Lower Columbia late night, slated for 10. Another really interesting first round matchup. Walla Walla Pierce too. Don't let that one, don't go to sleep on that. That's a really great first-round matchup.
Boy, no kidding. So the early afternoon, Umpqua Bellevue at noon, South Puget Sound, Big Bend at 2. The Pierce-Walla Walla matchup at 4. Boy, that 2 and 4. Stick around for both those. At 6 o'clock, Clark against Whatcom. Coach Brady's Shoreline team against Mount Hood. And the late game, Lower Columbia against Spokane. Well, this has been fun. I always love talking hoops, that's for sure. And I hope you folks have enjoyed the selection show. I'd like to thank everybody in the NWAC office for, first of all, asking Dave and I to host this event. Thanks to Marco Azurdia. Thanks to Garrett Studer. He has done a great job putting this program together. Justin Ford has been our director and producer, and Justin, great job. And of course, the folks out of the NWAC Sports Information Office, their director Tracy Swisher and his assistant Spencer Rowland. And of course, thanks to Jim Jackson and Carol Harden, everybody out of the NWAC office. This has been fun. I hope this is a tradition we can continue. For all you teams that have had parties out there and have been sharing some photos and comments on Twitter, we appreciate it an awful lot. Men up first this Thursday and Friday, the Sweet 16. And don't forget, it's win or go home. It's single elim this time in the Sweet 16, so that's going to really up the stakes a little bit.
Really will, and I just like to say to the coaches we've had a chance to work with, both women's and men's side. Me as a PA announcer, met so many of you this year, get to see your games. Look forward to seeing you now in the tournament situation.
All right, well, it's very good. It's a date. Next 2 weekends, and midweek we're going to have some great basketball up there at Everett at the Walt Price Gymnasium. Men first Thursday, the Sweet 16, Friday the 8, and then the women will take over on Saturday and Sunday, Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. And then the following weekend we'll have the Final Four and Championship. So everybody involved, hope you've enjoyed it today. This is Kirk Rowland for Dave Andrew. We'll see you later this week in Everett. Thanks for listening.